Day one of the tough new restrictions saw Sydney-siders confined to their local areas. Heavy fines were handed out to more than 160 people caught breaking the rules. But most people did their best to keep their heads down and masks on, adapting to life in lockdown.
Lockdown 2.0.
It's horrible.
Reined in with new restrictions.
We need everyone to stay hunkered down this weekend.
Only one person allowed to shop for essentials.
Clothing stores, I don't think they're essential, to be honest, and coffee shop is marginal.
As Saturday real estate went online.
So congratulations and very, very well purchased.
Or by appointment.
It's no longer uncharted waters for us. We've seen this obviously last year, so it has been fairly seamless and smooth.
Saturday sports outside.
Enjoying it very much. It's really good to walk the dog.
Groups of no more than two.
If you live alone, you can exercise with someone that you know.
So long as it's within 10 kilometres of your home.
I think there are plenty of places in Sydney to walk no matter where you are.
No requirement to carry ID, but a warning. Police can and will check where you're from.
Most people that I see exercising have a telephone and have often carry other things on them.
Personally, I think that's a bit too much. I think that's a bit overreaching.
Restrictions remain in the regions too. Masks indoors, a rule one punter had trouble following.
So Channel 7 tomorrow, mate.
All up, 167 people were given COVID infringement notices by police overnight. 67 of those in the southwest hotspot. The rest across the city, including a gathering at the entrance with 5 people and a party in Randwick where 8 men were caught, one who tried to hide from officers behind a shower curtain.
Just wanted to ask you about the illegal gathering last night.
Dobbed in by neighbours, furious at the flouting of the rules.
Not following the rules, I guess, is not the best.
Neighbours, people in your street, people that are out and about will contact police.
Despite beginning their blitz in the southwest, police are already looking to expand their crackdown to the south, moving resources down to the Shire as exposure sites grow. Shops open in Cronulla Mall today.
They haven't had any COVID down in the Shire.
But it's creeping closer. Exposure sites at Miranda, Kirrawee, Tarrant Point, raising fears the Shire bubble could be the next to burst.
Maybe this is a little bit more serious.
Amelia Brace, 7 News.
Good evening. If you love your family, stay at home. That's the stark message to Sydney on the day a teenager became our youngest COVID patient in intensive care. There were 50 new cases today, with 26 of them infectious in the community. The Premier warning things will get worse before they get better, with predictions the lockdown could stretch into next month.
Cold and wet. Perfect weather to be locked down. New restrictions meant Sydney was reduced to pairs. This was Manly last Saturday. What a difference COVID has made.
Boring, frustrating. We have to make the best of it and just stay positive.
I'm expecting not to go back to work probably for another 3 or 4 weeks.
As new COVID cases reached the half century, the key fear, how many have mixed with others.
And when you know that there's 26 cases that were infectious in the community, the only conclusion we can draw is that things are going to get worse before they get better.
Of the 26, 13 were in the southwestern Sydney Local Health District, 11 in the southeastern and 1 each in the western and Sydney Local Health Districts.
The vast majority of those cases, and I can't stress this enough, are close family or friends of people who have COVID.
There are now 47 COVID cases in hospital. 5 have been half vaccinated with either AstraZeneca or Pfizer.
No one who has received 2 doses is in hospital.
But the COVID cases in intensive care are getting younger, stretching from patients in their 80s through to their 40s, 30s, 20s, and now a teenager.
I think it's a salient lesson that COVID can impact across all age groups.
We're seeing almost a disproportionate number of people in that younger age group ending up in hospital.
10 more cases linked to a gathering at the Meriton Suites Waterloo. Its total now 35. A cluster still growing from here, and it's prompted health officials to urge anyone who becomes infected, the best way to help contact tracers is to be honest, straight away.
Please tell us the truth at the beginning. You won't get in trouble.
Rising case numbers and new doubt. The lockdown currently in place will be enough.
In the best case scenario, I think it'll go at least for the rest of the month for a few more weeks yet. And in the worst case scenario, even longer.
It's going to take at least 4 to 6 weeks, in my view, before we get out of lockdown. So that's the end of July or into August.
The Premier expects worse numbers in coming days.
The length of this lockdown is up to each and every one of us. And I wouldn't give you a date or tell you a date unless we have more evidence.
Urging people to stay at home, and that means where you actually live.
Just because Nan lives 2 doors down or a cousin lives walking distance from you or in the next suburb, that is not your household.
The challenge, getting the message out so everybody understands.
The people that are closest to you, that you love the most, are the ones that are going to get the virus if you do the wrong thing.
Live to Chris Marr now. And Chris, there's an alert for a major Sydney shopping centre.
And it's the Broadway shopping centre near the city where a COVID-positive customer came on Thursday. Now, that customer came from midday for 2 hours. They were wearing a mask and checking in at all locations they visited. The stores visited by the person were the Kmart, the JB Hi-Fi, Coles, Audi, Harvey Norman and Liquorland. Now, cleaning is underway. The centre is cleaned every night anyway. Anyone who was at those locations, at the centre, at those times is asked to monitor for symptoms. Also, a short time ago, we've received a new list, 7 new locations in Sydney. They are the Direct Trade Marylands, Freshness for Less at Fairfield, Barbecue Galore at Penrith, the Butcher's Shed at the Moorebank Shopping Centre, Bupa Dental at Miranda and the Chemist Warehouse at Punchbowl. Anyone who may have been at those locations is asked to go to the health website to check for details. Ange.
OK, thanks so much, Chris. Canberra is being accused of turning its back on Sydney workers stood down and struggling during the extended lockdown. Industry bodies say not enough is being done and too many are being left behind.
Lockdown delivered a brutal blow for Cooper Forsyth.
We got a call from the manager. Everyone got a call that said, you're being stood down without pay.
His part-time job at the local aquatic centre now on hold. He's chipping into his savings to survive the next few weeks.
Not sort of sure if the lockdown's going to get extended, what that will mean for being able to find work and pay rent and all of that sort of thing.
Last year we had JobKeeper in place and that kept people secure. What we're seeing now is no safety net left.
With each week of the lockdown costing the local economy $1 billion, casual workers are paying the price.
It is casual workers. It's people who are losing their income, who are most likely to have no savings whatsoever, who are struggling as a result of this lockdown.
Union bodies calling on Canberra to act, otherwise hundreds of thousands of Sydneysiders will be left behind.
If we want people to stay home, we need to support those workers that can't work from home. The government needs to act now. If they don't act now, people will go to the wall.
There are also calls for companies to let workers take sick leave if they're forced to isolate after being identified as a close or casual contact, with the union saying no one should be forced into financial hardship simply for following the health orders.
The government can't control every single private or non-government organisation or business. But what we can do is appeal to people.
The Electrical Trades Union furious. Employees of construction company Downer working at the Sydney Opera House have been forced to take annual leave after a positive case visited the site.
These workers are deemed essential workers, so they've been put at risk at work, so we're considering it should be paid sick leave.
Downer says while they can't work, workers don't get paid, instead inviting them to take annual leave, seek federal support or apply for the company's hardship grants. Amber Laidler, 7 News.